Hello, Jack. Jackie boy, nice to see you again, mate. Thank you for joining. So not if anyone else comes on board, of course. Nice to see you again, mate. We'll be doing this at some point. You know, answer your questions a couple of days ago, mate. Absolute pleasure. So I'll be interested to see how this goes, actually. So it's a live Q&A. Let's do some more random stuff. Oh, absolutely. So there's a piece to talk about, Q&A, random chat. Ben Freeman, hello, Richard Bean. How are you? I'm not too bad, mate. Just been soaking in the sun today, and yeah, that's about it, really. You know, been out and about, been on a long trip today, long road trip actually, and just came back really. Well, about times actually. By the way, why are you doing a test? A test? What do you mean the What do you mean the Q&A? Someone different, or is it different, or is it someone else you mean? I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that. Why are you doing a test? Oh, is this what the live stream is called? Is it called live test? Awesome. Don't know if I'll change that title. No, I think it'll be alright actually. It's the live test. Is it? Because I thought I changed the title. I'll leave it as it is now. It's the live stream anyway. It's probably lost me because I've hastily do a live event really. But I'll change it when this finishes. I'll change it to the 5th live stream, whatever. It'll be alright. Anyway, I can edit at some point. But it's the other live stream. It's the 4th live stream anyway, so we're still going on with that. Absolutely. So what's going to happen to the live stream 5 stream? It's not happened. This is still the live stream. It's just this title change really for some strange reason. Not too sure why. It's just a bit of a mix-up, like a glitch mix-up or something with the titles, but it's still the live stream 5. This is. So no need to worry. Doing film boat comes in when he swans in, because quite a few things are interesting as well. So we'll get to that. A couple of things I've got, and I'll do like a special unboxing as well. That'll be fun, and we'll do the make it a bit more interesting. So we'll have to wait and see. So you two are in. That's fantastic. I'll wait for doing but when he swans in, he'll come in because I love you. Absolutely, and we'll get a move on. What we're having? Astro Dart. I've had it a few times actually, a few nights out. It's decent, not too bad. Also, might as well I'll share the box behind the screen. The other being live stream videos on YouTube. I'm not sure how that's happened unless it's a glitch thing. How it's, I don't know really. It's a restream. It's sort of a restream that I'm using on, so it probably affected it slightly. Well, this is a 5th stream. I'll sort out afterwards when I finished. I'll finish this live stream. It'll be alright. Expect some less confusion. Be alright. Let me have a quick look anyway. Just to be sure. Right. I think what I can do is I can just Where am I at? Let's have a look. So I'll put that out now. So everyone just says go to Livestream and no live test and see if that'll do. I think I would even feel a little waiting. I'm not don't know how that's happened. I'm not too sure that's how it's happened really. Get rid of it at some point. Excuse me. Yeah, in a little bit. Also in a bit actually. It's just a bit of cock up. Once everyone's in, you two are in. That's great. You and Jack Williams. I was waiting for doing film block when he comes and he usually pops on as well. No, I have to go to restream on the phone. So I'll sort this thing out actually. I'll try and give it this event or something. Connection issues. Okay. Always something's going on. So now, sorry for the delay, guys. It's just not sure how that's happened really, because usually it goes swimmingly fine. This stuff does, but I think as I did on the phone, actually, I might have done it slightly or hindered it slightly. Ah, hello, David for delay. I think you wanted the wrong one actually. The I think I've sorted that out now actually. So I think that works. Hopefully, if it works, provided it didn't work, that's up. It's ended up being a live test for some strange reason. You know, I sort of planned it out beforehand a couple of hours ago, but somehow it sort of went to live test for some strange reason. Now they're all here actually, just us three, so that's all right. So might as well get to the good stuff actually. So the plan is I've got a few things to show, but also got unboxing to do as well, which is absolutely fantastic. And then we'll go to your questions that you lovely people sent to me. Get around to that in a bit. But first, we'll showcase what I've got actually recently. Interesting enough, I've got a few. I got this recently from HMV, and be a bit of a surprise really. But standard edition season 19 just recently come. I think just this month it come out. Just found these in my local HMV. Paul Martin's Market. Well, these are 19. So I'm getting Peter Davison's first. Really good stuff. That's the side, the back. Yes. Oh, back here as well, you've got. That's how it is. Yeah. There you go. Absolutely, little booklet there as well. Just to this cash valves underneath there as well. Yeah, sure, but what hasn't got much further detail anyway. So, indeed, Just talk about the different episodes really on that Soul front. I'll give you some of the visitation very much in that one. If you can see. It doesn't say anything about the development and production of stories themselves, serials, or anything like that. So there we go. I think that's just how it is really. Nice cardboard sleeves, of course, fantastic. So that's your standard edition one. That's the newest one that recently come out, which is actually quite nice. Happy I've got this now. And next one, I've got this today actually, very today, from CX in Carlisle. I did, and it's this season 23. Shocking to find this actually. It doesn't come with the sticker bottom thing, of course, which I don't really mind. It's all right. So there we go, the side there. Round. Yeah, that's in there as well. We've got the disc as well. I'll show the booklets as well. Reach it open. Artwork absolutely fantastic. Same thing in there as there. The booklet's intact, so there's no pages missing in this thing. On there. So, real, absolutely fantastic. In there, you got the production details, everything else. 5 discs only, and yeah. Really good stuff. Fantastic. So, Mysterious Planet, part 1 to 4. What's this one? Yeah, 9 to 12. So, Terror of the Vervoids, and 14 to 4, and then you got your bonus disc as well. And there we go. There we go. That's fantastic. So that's my recent find anyway today. I saw the reissues in HMV yesterday, didn't I? Yeah. 12 and season 19. Yeah, I thought, well, I knew actually I saw them. No one ever bought them. There was some shelf they got, so I might as well get one of them. Indeed. Something coming around. I thought it'd be really interesting. So those are the ones I got recently. Well, the season 23 one just today actually, very much. So yeah, so this is the second one in the limited edition packaging. The other one being season 14, which I do have. That's in a different house that is, but I do have that. And this is the first one in the standard edition packaging. So there we go. But at least I've got about 3 now. I'm interested to see maybe get either season 10 or 18 on the standard edition. Very much. I'm looking forward to I might be interested to get season 24 on Blu-ray in the limited edition. Who knows? Or I can start from scratch and just get standard edition ones. Who knows? That was just a find really, because when I was in HMV, I was looking for season 12 actually, but they didn't sell anything. Things all went out. But I ended up getting season 23 in the end, which I'm quite pleased. So that's good. Also, I've got this as well. Now they were selling loads of these in the store. I don't know if you've seen these. 99 knockout, 5 items minimum, Amazon price value. This thing. They were selling these like in blue and red. And I thought, they'd be interesting. I thought, do an unboxing for this. As you've been purchasing things, I was going to say, have you seen the vinyl record purchase video I did last Friday? I haven't, mate, actually. No, I haven't. I've been extremely busy with work and stuff, so I've been doing a lot of shifts. I really haven't time to do with watching YouTube and watching entertainment-wise. I've been busy working, doing a lot of evening shift, like night shifts and stuff I have. So I've been really just been busy on that sort of thing. Got a few more coming later on for the next weekend as well, so yeah. But I'll get around to watching it at some point then, don't worry, guys. It's just when I got the time, because now the busy works, it's like it's going a bit south really in a minute, but I've just been constantly busy with that sort of stuff. Depending on the time really, if I have really. But today was my day off anyway, so I might, I'll get around to it at some point. Maybe after the stream, who knows? But maybe I'll probably peep in the stream about midnight or something. Who knows? So. Right, so I'm going to try to unbox this now. I'm just trying to find the tape bit. So 5 items, so this is going to be interesting. Funny. So it's there. The tape thing's there. So this is here actually. What I'm going to use. Right. tapes there, so I'll try that. Let's try this out. Has anyone ever seen this? The examples of vinyl purchase. Hard Day's Night album. Good for you, sir. That's wonderful. And 4 or 5 singles included Rarity by Jackie Wilson, the 1986 reissue. That's interesting. I've got a Hard Day's Night, I do, but I think it's. I don't know if it's. Is it mono? I think I've got it in mono, actually, I think. Version I've got. I think. What about you, mate? Is yours in mono? Is it a stereo reissue or something? You have a Hard Day's Night. I'm interested, actually. So, that's going to work. But I do want to have it all bills out Q&A eventually. Ooh, all guide. I think this is nothing over from HMV in Carlisle, so let's have a look. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, I wasn't expecting. Bloody hell. Holy crap. Whoa. Good. Wow. I wasn't expecting this at all. Holy shit. Wow. Right. Someone hit some strange jackpot. Let's have a look at this. So, So this is what they've been doing. Right. What should I do? Start with first. Start with this actually first. So, what we got? Warhammer Sigmar Champions Training Card Game. Campaign Deck Death. Okay, so it's a card game. Warhammer, hell. Asia Champions and Victory. Okay, I see. Having a stereo issue. Okay, it's just a stereo reissue, that is. That's good. Oh, that's from the 80s, I'd say. Maybe. Oh, actually, maybe. Stereo, okay. At least you have it on vinyl. That's a good thing. So that's one. So that's in the box. So that's testing. So that's Warhammer. I remember Warhammer back in the day. Never played it. What else have we got? Potter. Hufflepuff keychain. Yeah. No, actually, I am Hufflepuff anyway, so that's good. Perfect choice. So that's nice. I can be pulling my keys. That's nice. Oh, that's wonderful. That is brilliant. That is. Still good. Fantastic. Right. Then the songs I mentioned before, Hard Day's Night Out with the other. Good on you there. Good on you, mate. We've got them two. Next up we've got is a Doctor Who rubber band. What's this down here? Wibbly wobbly tiny wine. Bloody hell. God. How old's this anyway? Christ, that looks. Jeez. That happened years. When this came out? 12. Yeah? So it's an old rubber band from Matt Smith era. That's interesting. Okay. I'll won't wear that. And this came out. Nice. Actually. Who knows? So Warhammer cards at the streams freezing a little bit. Okay. So if really, unfortunately, really, unless I have to restart again, might have to keep it like this, really, unfortunately. But who knows? So just to recap on this thing, we've got Warhammer card game. A Doctor Who Women like this. how do you describe that? It's like a caramel, like a weak caramel. Like, no, actually, what does it say at the bottom here? Oh, mint. It's a mint sandy cup. It's sweet. It's sweet, like a sweet mint, like you get. That's really interesting. What's this from? To Davros, this is number 2 tempter. What is the bottom though? Eagle Moss. Not an Eagle Moss figurine, is it? Let's have a look. Could be. It might be actually. It could be. Maybe it's something to do with your Wi-Fi connection. Nothing mentioned beforehand, really. It's actually working. I think my Wi-Fi is fine. It could be. It might be Restream. I think it is. Maybe the whole thing. Really, I don't know. Okay, I haven't lost it. You know, the first time I lost it, that completely gone. I think it's actually doing okay at the minute. I seem to be okay at the moment. I'm not sure either of people's ends really. It might just be Restream total, really. Something like that. Yeah. So this is one of the Eagle Moss figures that you tend to claim magazines and whatever. That's bloody cool, that is. Because I've always seen these and seen people's collection videos on social media and all over the place. Never thought I'd get one of these. Well, there we go. I've actually got one of them now. Oh, that's interesting. That is good. That's probably the best highlight of that box. And there's one more thing. What on earth is this? Another Harry Potter thing. What's this? Men in doubt to go to the library. Okay. Oh, it's one of those. I see. It's a little diary. It's a little diary. It's a diary. Okay, that's decent. Probably not later in my box. So it's like there's nothing in it. It's just 5 items, but there's 6 items. This thing. But there we go. That's quite impressive, actually. So yeah, that's good. Like you mentioned, I leave on my copy of Repeat by checking on 45, which I bought last Friday. 86 reissue, 40 was original 1957. God, we've got the original, and it's actually got a reissue. It's like I got Please Me many years ago as a teenager. Mentioned, you know, if you look at this barcode on the in the bag or something, it's a 1980s and it's a 5-white version. It's like, oh, you know, I thought I'd get the jackpot or something like that. You know, imagine some of my deals can be like that, really. You know, maybe Sash and Pepper. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, interesting. That's done. So I'll keep it on the. I'm very pleased with that, actually. I'm very pleased with that. Probably do another one. I might do another one at some point. Probably get another one. Might get a red one this time and see what comes out of that one. But I'm very pleased with that, actually. So you get this. So these are from $4.99, but you get it for about nearly about £10 or something. You get something interesting out of it. I was quite pleased about that. It was released the following year, showcasing the animated video on the BBC Two Arena. The video is directed by Gibless and it's animation. Interesting. That's fantastic. That's gone well. Just before, if you go to HE, try and get one of these. They have these two on red. They do. So just if you're interested, at least you know what to expect from them, really. So think of Loot Crate, or sold you also the, you know, like American and Japanese. Because seem to be doing that. Seem to be doing some weird stuff now, actually. But I'm enjoying it actually. So yeah, interesting. I do like I did a US Candy video a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago. Some was interesting. You know, it's nice on top. You know, me just this stuff for the first time in the car, believe it or not. Which we'll get into the question which Ben Freeman told me at some point. So we'll get there. And it proves so popular. Repeated became this year's #1 Christmas chart. So the video, it's like you look at Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel. So, you know, adored and loved all the time, really, because that video by Hardman Animations. So, you know, I think anything with that, of course, gives it a selling point. Like Innuendo by Queen, that's all deals with animation most time, really. It was #1 for 4 weeks and 700,000 copies, 29 years after its chart debut. Bloody hell. Jesus Christ. That's interesting. So I might as well keep a look at that. I probably won't forget this. I'll probably forget it at some point, really, but who knows? Right. So shall we do this Q&A? Right. So see, a couple of days ago I did reached a video out. You know, just that sort of thing. We missed some questions because I thought might as well do like a Q&A on live stream for a change. Do something different, you know. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just looking at a little chatty with a couple of mates. Right. So we'll do this. We'll do this Q&A. I've got everything questions set up, and we'll get ready. So all people said. So you three have sent questions, but also someone else has sent some questions. Well, he'll appear at last anyway, so it'll be interesting. Got a few decent questions. That's all right. So we'll get through these. Because everybody, if you want to chip in and answer your own, answer your own questions that I've read out, that's absolutely fine. You can do that if you want, and type down below what your answers will be as well. So I'd love to hear that, actually. So we'll do it, actually. So we'll do this, actually. So we'll do this. So I'll start with DVD and Film Blog, as always. With every Q&A, always have with him, absolutely. But basically, the mainstay of the Q&As, really. So 2 questions he sent me. Thank you very much, anyway. So the first question is, do you have a favourite director? And if so, which ones? I didn't really go think about this, actually. I was trying to think which directors are the interesting ones, I would say. One sprung to mind was Alan Parker, the British director, late Alan Parker. Down to his sort of filmography, really, of what he actually really done. And looking back at his stuff, if you type him up and look through all his stuff he's done quite a few eclectic work. What I've noticed, because he's done Bugsy Maloney. That's quite one of the early ones I remember seeing back in the day, back in primary school as a kid. That was Bugsy Maloney from 1976. Midnight Express, which child many years ago. Great film, really good film it is. There's Fame, obviously. Pink Floyd's The Wall, 82 now. He did Angel Heart. Mickey Rourke and Robert De Niro. He did that one. Mississippi Burning, William Dunn. The Commitments, obviously, my favourite film of all time. Absolute best. You know, I love that film to death. He directed that. I think that's the obvious reason why I chose Alan Parker for. The Road to Wellville, that's another interesting, bizarre one. One of my early successes, really. One of my early viewed reviews, actually, movie reviews back in the day. I think back in series 3, actually, I reviewed it. Strange film, bizarre film. Anthony Hopkins has a Southern American accent. You know, very wide-eyed spectacles and bushy moustache. That is strange, that is. But his son, played by Dana Carvey, who lives in a pigsty. Yes. Matthew Broderick, who's an opium addict and can't stop getting erections. And Bridget Fonda just... I don't know. The only Parker film I was seeing was The Life of David Gill, and I wasn't a fan. Yes, that is true. With his last film in 2003, obviously, I never actually seen The Life of David Gill, really. I know it really didn't go well with people back in 2003, and obviously with Kevin Spacey in the lead role, it's probably not looked down upon very favourably these days. I watched it in college years ago, so you actually watched it. Midnight Express and Prince of the Wall are on my wall. Midnight Express, I definitely recommend, mate. I definitely recommend Midnight Express. I remember When did I first saw it? I saw it on a caravan holiday in Stockport a couple of years. Oh, 5 years, I think. I remember really enjoying it. I remember really enjoyed that. For Brad Davis, great actor, really good stuff. Got John Hurt as well. Fantastic stuff. Really, very, very brutal as well. Same Turkish prison stuff. You know, probably very good. And the soundtrack by Giorgio Moroder, and it's actually decent as well. Pink Floyd's The Wall, it's all right. I don't know. It's hard to get. It's hard to get in that one really. If you, I'm not well, The Wall. I'm not really keen on as a Pink Floyd album. Really, it's not one of my first. Some good points to it, but overall, it's never captures me really as a Pink Floyd album. As a film, it can be a different spectacle. I mean, Bob Geldof's in it, of course. It's a choice, but there we go. I think the one so a bit more rock and a bit more not an actor. Road to Wellville, he did Evita as well, and Antonio Banderas and Madonna. I have it on DVD somewhere. I did about years ago. I did Angela's Ashes. That I remember because my grandparents had that. They did. I still have the chest somewhere in this house somewhere. I'm living. It's in a wardrobe somewhere. But I remember watching. I might have seen it years ago, maybe a long time ago, really. Because I can't remember exactly where, but it was just one of those things. Well, it's got people like Robert Carlyle in it, and is it Emily Mortimer, I think, that's in it? I don't really know, actually. I don't know, really, but it's based on a book. There we go. I'm trying to think of the name of films he's done. I think there's one with Karen Allen in as well, I've noticed. Was it Big the Moon? I think that's one. I'm trying to think of any others. Bloody hell. Birdie. Bloody Birdie. I forgot about Birdie. He directed Birdie. Matthew Modine and Nicolas Cage. One of the Cage, absolutely. And the soundtrack by Peter Gabriel. I haven't seen all. It looks interesting, but I haven't really seen it yet. And I heard the soundtrack to it because I know Peter Gabriel for it. But that's the first time I actually knew about Birdie, that film. And yes, I thought might as well give it a little check out. It's an interesting soundtrack. And he uses stuff from his earlier albums like Peter Gabriel 4. And if you listen to it, really, if you listen to his main albums first, and listen to Birdie, it's like, yeah, there's some similarities with this thing because he's reused it most of the time. I might have a look actually on what I forgot. I'll go back to the question. I'll go back to the questions in a little bit. But I'm going back on Alan Parker. If I missed any films, really, I can probably go through them all actually. Obviously, Sir Alan Parker. He's a very down to earth director. I've noticed. You know, he's very sort of like that, really, in a way. You know, like always going well, even with kids as well. He actually managed to makes it more interesting, a bit more that sort of thing, really. So he did Bugs Malone first, his first feature film debut. I know a friend of mine I've known for many years brought it to primary school one time. It was like, you know, it was like a show and tell, bring a film in or something, and he brought this film, and I thought it was very interesting. Like kids dressed as gangsters throwing custard pies along each other. I thought that's very amusing film. It's quite amusing. And I thought, yeah, this will be good. I haven't seen it since though, actually, so it's been a long time since I've seen Bugs Malone, but still, it's regarded as a really good film. Then you got Midnight Express. Then you got Fame. That sort of sped up to his own legacy that has. Shoot the Moon. I'm trying to think who's in Shoot the Moon. Okay. So I forgot. I know Karen Allen was in it. So I forgot that Albert Finney, Diane Keaton, Peter Weller was in it. I never knew that. So I forgot about that. It's probably one of the ones obscure films I really don't know about. Pink Floyd, The Wall. There's Birdie. Angel Heart, Mississippi Burning. Come and see The Paradise. One I never heard of as well. Dennis Quaid. Okay, I would have known that one. So Dan Shoot the Moon. They're probably the ones I'm not familiar with actually. Then you got Commitments. Got Here. Fantastic. Favorite film. Road to Wellville. One of the bizarre films I've ever seen, and everyone seemed to love it and comment about it back in the day. Vita, Angela's Ashes, and The Life of David Gale, which is probably one of the ones that's not really sort of not interested really about. really. I mean, Kevin Spacey's in it, but there we go. So I would choose Alan Parker on that front. I just like his films really because I like he's got a bit of a weird mixture of stuff really. In terms of an interesting story with most of them, maybe sometimes adapt some interesting books and stuff. Interestingly enough, I think for more, I could think Danny Boyle. I can think of Danny Boyle, great director. I watched Shallow Grave a couple of years ago with my mum because it's the second time I've seen it because I bought the Blu-ray of it. I did a show in video about last year or something, and because obviously we've got a Blu-ray player now in the house, whatever. Not in this house I'm in now, in the house with my parents, whatever. I put it on, and she thought it was a bit slow and confusing in a way, whereas I thought it was like a very good film because I really enjoyed it. She thought it was a bit more, again, confusing, strange, and boring at the same time. Strangely enough, even though it's got like a very well-known casting as well. You got Dave Ball, you got Ewan McGregor, Kelly MacDonald, Chris Eccleston, Keith Allen, Ken Stott. The only Dave Ball film I've seen is Trainspotting, obviously, absolutely. I'm trying to think of the films I've seen actually of his work. Shallow Grave was one. Trainspotting is one because my parents had it on DVD. There's an interesting story with Trainspotting. Obviously, it's one of my favorite films as well. It's cracking film. It's a cracking film, very dark film as well. My mum watched it when she was pregnant with me actually, and that's all freaked her out of it, especially with the stuff the death of the baby Dawn and stuff. If you haven't seen the film, if you're a certain age, if you're over 18 and over, definitely see Trainspotting. It'd probably freak you out actually, but she watched that when she was pregnant with me, and it just basically freaked her out really. And obviously she forbid me to watch it for many years, but I remember catching on when Film 4 put it on late one night. I think we were watching a film, it came on next, and I thought, she was asleep, so I thought I might as well watch it. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty good film. So I finally get to see what this film's like, and yes, it was something. Visually stuff, and just really good. Going Trainspotting as well. The beach, I've seen little bits of the beach. My mum and my sister have probably seen that most, really. They've probably seen it full, but I've never really seen the beach fully. I have it on DVD in a box set, but I need to watch that film. 28 Days Later, great film. Cillian Murphy. I mean, if you're looking, Cillian Murphy at that time, sort of less known. So obviously, 2002 this came out. So obviously, he was sort of coming out, at some point with Disco Pigs and what's that film? He goes to bloody America. What's it? Something else called Sunburn. That's it. Tries to escape from his Irish heritage. Oh no, trying to escape from his girl. This woman he got pregnant with and buggers off to America or something. Interestingly, also his parts in The Trench as well, with Daniel Craig apparently in that film. Interestingly, that's from Matt Dine. I have the DVD of that as well actually. One wonders actually, he's a Cillian Murphy fan. She is. 20 Days Later. I'll tell you what. There's a funny thing with 28 Days Later. I've never seen it. I saw it a pirated copy once in 2007 when 28 Weeks Later came out, and I bought. You buy pirated copies of like a market stall at town. They much by a group of Pakistani people, of course. What was it? £3 for £10 it was, and they had like a decent range of stuff they did. Sometimes the quantity was shit. Sometimes it was actually pretty interesting, and I remember getting some interesting films, of course, like Land of the Lost. The Peter Jackson produced film Black Sheep. That was another one. There was quite loads actually. We used to go all the time, really. So I probably still have them in the house somewhere. Where they'd probably be littered around some in different types, like in little circular plastic sleeves and stuff. Some come like with paper sleeves and like sort of in a plastic film, whatever. Strangely, those are the ones we tend to get the most. Some of them actually were pretty good, decent copies. Some of them were just a bit rubbish because you always get what do you think? No, you always get someone always filming with a camera, of course, and you get some people walking through the screen, blocking your view, which I thought was quite amusing. But there we go. That's pirated bootlegs for you. If you ever bought stuff like that. So when 28 Weeks came out, we ended up getting it, and it was coupled with 28 Days Later. Obviously, it came from the original DVD, and the quality was fantastic, really. 28 Weeks Later was a bit rubbish. The print, I mean, the quality of that was a bit horrible, really. But the first one was good. And when we were in secondary school for our GCSEs, we had to do like a story based around it. Of course, we had to watch the opening minutes of 28 Days Later and had to form a story about it. What was the character of Jim afterwards? Your own interpretation of it. And what did I do? I remember writing, of course, and he was just trying to escape, find his bearings. And what happened was afterwards, I started going heavily investing about it, and I think it was called the 28-day craze. It was called. Just changed it that really. And some strange reason I decided to like carry on with a sequel, which was I think I called it the second one. That involved him finding a group of survivors and 2 kids and stuff. They were trying to kill, trying to probably kill them or whatever, like that. And the third one was called To Defect, which actually borrows heavily from 28 Weeks Later, or toward the end of 28 Weeks Later, also in Paris, in Paris actually. So I did a little 28-day week trilogy actually, and I have it there because a friend of mine binded it. He did, whatever. So it's nicely presented like a document. Wherever it is, it's somewhere safe in a file there, somewhere in the house. I don't know where. I'll have to wait and see. So that's one thing with 28 Days Later. Sunshine, I haven't seen it yet. T2 Trainspotting, I saw in cinema when it came out. I thought that was really good actually. As a sequel, really good. I wasn't disappointed with that. They kept the same vision. It kept it somewhat similar, bits and pieces. Keep it modernised, stuff like that. And I really enjoyed it. I thought, I wouldn't say, they're each other. I'd say it's better than the original because the original stands out totally different, very, very of its time, really. Groundbreaking for its time, the original Trainspotting. It also did Yesterday as well. Indeed. I've never seen Yesterday, actually. I probably need to at some point. Because I know guy who was in EastEnders now as a leading man in films, strangely. You look at him, because it's quite surprising. You think you look at him, you think, oh, guy looks familiar, of course, and he plays bloody Tamar in EastEnders or something, It's like, yeah, and now he's a leading man in various different films. He's obviously with him, Hamish Patel, that's him. He's built up like a great career now, so he'll become like a decent leading man, probably in comedies or something, or his first action film. You never know with him. But that man's going places now. Good on him. So, Danny Boyle, Alan Parker. I'll think of a third one. I'm trying to think of a third one, if I can. God. What's some other ones I like? I might say Paul Verhoeven, actually, in a way. Paul Verhoeven, Dutch director, did quite a few films actually beforehand, but I think his first major film that he sort of really got noticed was RoboCop in 1987. Another favourite of mine, one of my absolute favourite films of all time, that is. The original 1987 film, mind-blowing for a start. That really, as a 9-10-year-old, seeing that for the first time, bloody hell. Imagine I've seen RoboCop first in Prime Directors, that TV series from 2001, then RoboCop 2, the Irvin Kershner direct film from 1990 first. Then I watched the 87th movie, then RoboCop 3 by Fred Dekker. I never actually mentioned about stuff like Fred Dekker. I still need to watch that actually, because it's been a long time since I've seen RoboCop 3. I did watch RoboCop, the first one, and RoboCop 2 a couple of years ago. I think when I got the box set, I still have the box set somewhere. I watched the director's cut of that actually, and the director's cut actually, it all improves little bits and pieces I sort of never included in the original theatrical version, but it adds some little minor touches. I need to watch more Paul Verhoeven films. There's only like a decent few actually. In terms of his main ones that people know. So RoboCop, instant classic. That's really good. I don't know what. This is back in the day when I had like a little portable TV and a built-in VHS player. I used to watch films on my own. You know, my parents didn't mind really at the time, really, so I could probably just sneak it in and watch it. So that was the one. Actually, my dad bought it for me. Actually, in a way, he bought the RoboCop. Well, he introduced me to RoboCop. Actually, funny enough, that's his fault. So blame him. But I remember really, it's bloody, I mean, bloody for a start. I've never seen like a violent. Well, I've seen violent films. So, you know, you think of Rambo. That's violent buggery, that is. But it's like for you know, sort of thing really. I think for the original film is one of my favorite films. Time, good on you, mate. You have excellent taste. You do DVD and film bloke. Yeah, just the direction, style. It's really just fantastic. It is fantastic. RoboCop 2, I have a soft spot for. I really do. I think again, it has that sort. It sort of carries it a little bit more, you know, but it's more mean spirited. Which I don't mind actually. I don't mind the mean spiritedness. I mean, they do something different, make it a bit different from the original film, obviously. But I think that was not the main intention. But there we go. Of course, Verhoeven's main genre is sci-fi, action, and erotic thrillers. Absolutely. I mean, he only did. I think he only did a couple, didn't he? I'm trying to think of the top of my head now. Three. There's only like, I think there's only like 5 main. There's only 5 main films you can think of for Verhoeven who actually, you know, what people definitely remember him for. RoboCop, Total Recall. Again, that's a really good one. That is, you know, a great Schwarzenegger film. Interestingly, it's based off of the Dick book, which is weird, funny in a way. You know, you can't, you know, you think of stuff like, you know, you think of bloody June or whatever, and you put like an action hero like Schwarzenegger in the lead, all that. That would probably work. It all works in this way, of course. You know, like he's a construction worker, pretty much, so he's, you know, built up, buffed up fella. So that's interesting. I watched him once on TV 4 many years ago with my dad. Great film, I have to admit. I do have the box set, some of that Studio Canal box set, with the likes of Rodeo, Red Heat, and Red Sonja as well. So that's good, you know, interesting. Then there's Basic Instinct. I actually watched Basic Instinct very recently, actually, and with my mum actually, she was busy watching it. Well, it's one of those things, really. You know, you're busy on like on your tablet or whatever, listening to music or whatever. Then your mother's watching a film, like, you know, maybe with some intrigue. I don't know. Depends what your parents love. Actually, that's the thing. Interestingly, but I thought it was interesting, really, because I do have again. It's another film I have on DVD. I think I've got all his films on DVD, and all his main films, really. I didn't mind as much, actually. Interestingly. And then you've got Showgirls, kind of derided one, I would say, 95. When I first heard about Showgirls, it actually came from a song in the soundtrack, I'm Afraid of Americans by David Bowie. That's the one. Because when I got... Where did it come from? When there's a box set that Bowie released, I think it was like his last album before he retired, actually. He went to hiatus or whatever. So it's 95 to 2003. So that's from outside to reality, that was. And there were expanded editions. There were 2 double editions. They were a box set that I got from a local store. I used to get a lot of stuff from. And a track on there, it was on the Earthling album. It was I'm Afraid of Americans. I think it was called Showgirls OST. And it was weird, strange, because I'm Afraid of Americans is a good song. If you listen to the 97 version, it's great on the album Earthling. Bloody hell, fantastic. This version I thought was weird, actually, very strange, very hard. It's half baked. There's a working idea. It was actually come from the Outside Sessions in '95. This did, and obviously expanded a bit more, made it more techno, a bit more out there in the '90s, which is brilliant. But this one's more bare bones. There's a lot of weird stuff going on. You can tell in the song it was made for the album, sort of recommended the album Outside, but never went anywhere. It was just left off. It was, and somehow it made its way to Showgirls for some strange reason. I have no idea why, really. Yeah, strange actually. So that's how I first knew about Showgirls. Then obviously you read up about it. You look at Elizabeth Berkley, who, you know, Saved by the Bell fame. Obviously, when she left, she went off and did this film, and that sort of made a career very just like tricky and a bit like very just sort of gone in a totally different direction, really. Strangely, yeah. You haven't seen much of her really, only on TV, but not really much sort of well known. I think after Showgirls, it sort of hit it. It made a career. It's like hit a brick wall or something at that point. Showgirls, it's a bit of an odd film, really. It's a bit strange. I'll probably need to watch it again at some point. I had a box set somewhere along with Blue Velvet and 9.5 Weeks. So that's the other ones. Like that's like erotic for a box set. I end up getting from CX, or was it Morrison's or something? I don't know. They got it from there for some strange reason. Then you got Starship Troopers, which is another great film. Similar to Robocop because it deals with fascism. Great cast as well. Casper Van Dien, Neil Patrick Harris, one of the early roles for him. Denise Richards, Michael Ironside, Clancy Brown, who played the Kurgan in Highlander, is in it. Yeah, it's actually a really good film. I remember watching it recently. Really good. Something about it was, it's very youthful, very in itself, very just out there. Really, I mean, the fascism and everything else, and it's just like there's a lot of interesting fun to it as well. Actually, I think Starship Troopers is just a really interesting, really good film from 1997, obviously, and yeah, rightly so. Even though the funny thing with that film, I remember when Oliver Harper talked about it. It's like people flocked to see it, and it was rated 15 when it came out in cinemas. Believe it or not, and people watched it and they were gasped by the violence and gore of it. It's like, what? Wait, what? And when it came out in home media, it's rated 18. Still is. It's like, and people think that should be an 18. Is it? Why is it a 15? And obviously, you can do think, well, that's more like it. That's more better. I think people accept it really. And yeah, I just think it's really good. I think it's a shame that he ended his run with Hollow Man, which is dire. Because I remember Hollow Man on VHS back in the day. Oh my god, it's one of my worst films ever. I've really seen. I have the best film from him. One of my favorite films comes from him, and one of the worst films actually comes from him as well. So, what can you do? It's Hollow Man. Oh my god. Oh, that is terrible. That's really bad. Looking back on it now, yeah, it's absolutely horrible. Really. There we go. But that was what my parents had. Some films from the era were 15 at the cinema, but 18 on video. Cornell is another example. Oh, really? Really? I never knew Cornell was sort of released as a 15 first in cinemas. Then, oh, interesting. I never knew that. It's like with what do you call it? I'm trying to think of with films are like that. Oh God. It's like you watch a 15, and sometimes years later when the Blu-ray comes out, it's rated 18 for some strange reason. What was the other ones? God. It's like, what do you call it? I think Die Hard 2 is another example, isn't it? Like it was rated 15, then it boosted up to an 18 when it came on video. Some versions, I remember, the version I had 15 stiff cut, and I thought it was a bit strange actually. I thought it should be 18 because the first one's 18, that should be 18. Diary of Vengeance onwards should be 15, But I think that's how it was actually. I think the DVD, I think I've got, is an 18. The DVD version I got is an 18. Whereas the VHS version I had back in the day was rated 15. So strange. Also, it's like some weird. Have you ever seen those misprints of like videos, like that bloody Cinema Club version of Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2? Yeah, it's rated PG on the front, but the tape inside is rated 18 for some strange reason. Have you ever seen that? I think Phaelus Phaelus, if you remember with his stuff from the Channel Awesome era, still doing lost stuff anyway. Showed off his Ghostbusters collection, of course, and he brought up this double VHS set, the Cinema Club UK import they had, of course. It's like it's very PG and everything else. You got a picture of Eugene Levy in there as well for some strange, bizarre reason which was never used. And also, it's all made the joke. He made the joke that actually, like it's rated PG, of course. But you put the tape, it's rated 18. It's like, you have to be PG to look at the cover, but you have to be 18 to watch the actual film. It's all made a joke about that. He did. I thought it was a bit strange. That's some weird in terms of, you know, disputing it, distribution really. I don't know if that internet thing. Yeah. Right. Checking something popped up, but I think we're good now. I think. So yeah, that's the ones. I don't know. Have you got any favorite directors of your own? Like very much. Is there any directors you actually love? Of course, I said my three. Is there any that you sort of think, you know, are worth mentioning? I've never talked about. If there is any you like. I'm interested to know. Stanley Kubrick, Quentin Tarantino, Ralph Bakshi. Quite easy choices. That's a decent selection, that is. I have to admit, that's pretty decent. They're not very pretty good directors. Are you going to answer questions a couple of days ago yet? Absolutely, mate. I've still got one question with TV and film blog, and I'm going to move into your next pen. Don't worry, mate. Haven't got about you. It's just that we have like it's a rambling Q&A it is, but I'm still going to see your questions, mate. Don't worry, mate. Absolutely, I'll never forget you, mate. Don't worry. You're going to be next in the line. Don't worry. We'll just have again. It's like talk about stuff, really. Don't worry. Don't worry about that. Those are good ones, actually. Fantastic. Kubrick, he's got a decent good selection of films. He has, really. He does. Tarantino, he has got some good films. I'll tell you the truth. When I watched Reservoir, I think I've told this in the review that I did a couple of years ago. What did I do? I fell asleep through it. I fell asleep through Reservoir Dogs for some strange, bizarre reason. I watched it. Sat down, watched it. I think when they were talking about discussing the heist in the car, whatever, if they look over the streets, I just fell asleep for about 10 minutes. I did. I don't know. My brain just couldn't take it for the long bits of dialogue, and it basically just like made me nod off to sleep. It did, and I woke up. I think, hang on, I slept for that bloody film. I rarely sleep for a film. I do. I never sleep. That's the rare occasion, really. If I watch something, I actually watch it. I'll watch it through. Reservoir Dogs, I just slept through about 10 minutes through it. So it was weird. It was a weird time for that one. Strange part of my life, really. Indeed. Ralph Bakshi, we talk about a lot of Ralph Bakshi on this live streams, don't we, mate? So I think I have enough to say about him, really. I really like Reservoir Dogs. Some points it's good. I think Pulp Fiction's good. I think it's a really good film. It is. What do I like else? I think Kill Bill Volume 2, I think. I never seen Jackie Brown yet. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I saw in cinemas when it came out. I thought it was pretty good, actually. Really good. Down to 60s aesthetic, music. It speaks to me. Said it's 1969. Absolutely, I'm so pumped. I was pumped for it. What's his last one going to be like? I don't know. Because he was meant to do a Star Trek film. He was also meant to do like a version of Casino Royale with Pierce Brosnan in the 1960s, apparently. Earlier this morning, I watched a bit of your series movie reviews, which was Series 8, and managed to find out the music from the start, which was a tune I recognised. Really? So you're basically looking... it's a theme from Pearl and Dean. Yeah, I do use that, yeah. I haven't used it since. I think it's a long time I used it for them. Is it Series 8, 9 and 10? I've used it for. Yeah, sorry, I'm just trimming chicken over time. I got back to them actually about a month ago. Just a month ago, really. I've probably been a bit longer than a bit longer than, but there we go. I think it's because, yeah, I did start to change our Oh, really? I did start to change our petition to case films released on Blu-ray internationally. Really? And has that gone pretty well? Has everyone signed a few signatures already? Or was it just like, there's only like 3 or 4 signatures still there? Maybe get some promotion, I think, maybe advertise it. If you want to see Bakshi's films on Blu-ray internationally, get to his petition, go to change.org, sign a petition, see what happens, I think just see what happens. Excuse me. Should be reading on camera really, but here we go. I'd be interested to see if that ever happened. If it gets successfully well, it could happen. Change.org, yeah. Pearl and Dean film, absolutely. I understand an hour ago, and I don't think everyone has signed it. Okay. Okay. I thought you might start. I thought it was like a couple of days, but there we go. I think what you can do is probably advertise it on YouTube, say the video update, change.org. Just, we want, excuse me, I'm signing this petition. Ralph Bakshi Films to get international release on Blu-ray. Links down in the question down below. As you can imagine, the Pearl and Dean film is basically one of those tubes you get stuck in your head and it doesn't until eventually you find out. That's absolutely true, yeah, because a lot of people use that, I've noticed. When I first heard about it, I think it's from Dalek 44, who was a YouTuber still, who's done quite bits and pieces, of course. He's done review stuff, bits and pieces, it's not like he used that for his reviews, really. So I sort of nicked it from for like made stuff like my own music. I may be using loops and whatever. And I think afterwards I used stock music for what iMovie have used, free music and stuff, free and everything. So it's a bit weird stuff going on, that sort of thing. But I used briefly, and also the tile sequence comes from the time lapse from 2001: A Space Odyssey. So there we go. Going back to Stanley Kubrick on that front. So I use that. I've used that actually briefly in something else, a tile sequence for Doctor Who as well, using the film, what do you call it? What's his name? Like some size 80s music that was used. That I used, really. So it was rough to use that those time visuals, of course, from 2001: A Space Odyssey. Indeed. We'll see how it goes. Right, and so we go to the next question, of course, Stephen. We'll go to his last question, of course. Only 2 questions. Are there any sequels you prefer over the originals? So, is there any sequels I prefer over the originals? God. I'm really trying to think, actually. I'm trying to think. Can anyone see the link I posted for the petition on the chat? No, I can't see. It's not appeared on here, mate. Well, I've noticed. It'll probably put delayed or whatever. I don't know, unless it hasn't gone through. It hasn't gone through when I'm seeing it yet, so I don't know. Maybe the originals. I'm really stuck now. I'll tell you what. I could probably say the wrong turn stuff, really, because I seem to enjoy those more than the first one. I probably say 4, 5, and 6 are better in my strange. I seem to enjoy them more. I don't know why, really, but there we go. Hopefully you should see it in live chat. It'll probably pop up around here somewhere. If not, we'll see. It probably will do. I probably see your wrong side 5, I would say. Any others? Any others? I really don't know, actually. I really don't know. That's really stumped me, that has. I was going to say something like Alien 3 is a good film. Alien's a good film. I'm not lost on Aliens. Alien 3 I do enjoy. Resurrection, or Resurrection really. I can honestly say maybe something like Predator 2 or something, really. Because I enjoy that. I really enjoyed Predator 2 when I first saw it out. It's because something to do with malware, because YouTube spam. Maybe. If this doesn't work, you can probably put it down below when the stream's finished. You can probably in the little comment section down below if you want to. That's absolutely fine. You know, we can probably, if you want. If it can't show up on him, it doesn't show up on here. I don't know, because no one's put any links up in this thing so far, so I don't really know. Really, unless it's unacceptable. Maybe that's why, because you get these bots going around, you know, doing the links and whatever, you know, to these weird porn sites or whatever. So who knows? Maybe that's why. So I'll probably say then really the wrong turn 4, 5, and 6. Predator 2, I would say. God. I'm really trying to think what else. In a way, in terms of films, I'm not going to say Terminator 2 Judgment Day, because I like the first one better. I do. I think the first one, that really captured that. You know, that first film as a kid, at the age of 9, and believe me, it really did. Sequel, it was good. It was really good, but I don't know. The first one means so much to me. It does. Then the sequel and the second one. Predator 2, I'd probably sin. Then the first one, I think that's probably why. Really, I think the first one's it's well regarded film, of course, but I do have like a decent soft spot for the second film. Yes, I do think so. Yeah, I think that's like we could say about them films. Really. So those are the sequels I could probably say are better than the originals. I would say, you know, baby. So we don't know. If you only got, if there's any films any sequels you think are better than the original films, that's absolutely fine. Comment down below if you want to. Share your thoughts. That's absolutely fine, because I'll be going to from Mr. Ben Freeman's questions. So here you go, Ben. I've finally got around to your questions, mate. So it's taken a little bit. You know, he's curious, especially with live streams. You know, it can be live and rambling. There's always people, people filling up and chat. It's side chat to do so. That's one thing. You know, as long as we're communicating all right, that's fantastic. So there we go. And of course, if you want to put your favorite sequels in, that's absolutely fine. You know, but I'll be, I'll respond to them as well while I'm doing Ben's questions. Okay, so Mr. Freeman, you sent me good 3 questions, so let's do this. So, what video game consoles do you PlayStation 2? So in terms of stuff, what do I remember again? So I had the original PlayStation. I never played it, actually, believe it or not. But I only had 2 games of it. Gran Turismo and the Amazing Spider-Man. That's all I had. PlayStation 2, I had a long time, of course. I got 2 versions, actually. The main actual one, the proper one that came out first. And there was a slimmed down version as well, many years, like a compact version of that. If anyone's actually owned them, you know, it's like, like a little flip chart, flicks up, really, if you ever had that one. And then ones, I never had a PlayStation 3. As I did play games, so like played the Warrior movie time game that was a Rockstar. That was really good. Not bad that game actually, but it's a really good one. And I think that was it, really. I'm trying to think of any of the Xbox games I played on that original one. I think those are the ones I played, really. I think in contracts as well, I think so. But I was on my 360. I was chipped, which 360 it had been modified since then. It was chipped. It was because you need to change it bloody time. You know, it's like so you go down to that sort of thing. Like, please work. That's how it used to be for me back in the day. God's truth. What do you call it? X or something you call it? I don't really know because I'm not caught in video games as I used to. No, I used to. So I'm devoted for that stuff. I've really taken myself away from that sort of stuff. What else I had? Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, and a PSP. I have a PSP some in a road up 2D, which I had was that was there. Grand Theft Auto Stories, Ratchet and Clank, Size Matters, Alien vs Predator, Alien vs Predator Requiem. Yes, that was, and that was about it. Really, and that you video of the Terminator. That's about it for that one. What else? I don't think of anything else I had actually. And a Wii. That was a Nintendo Wii. That was the business. That was. Wii Sports. Fantastic time that was. One of my there's a game that my mother used to play a lot. Dead. Or like and had like the gun accessories. Gun accessories they put on you plonk on with the controller. She used to enjoy that. She did. What they call it apparently. Was it Has the Dead Overkill? I remember playing that back then. You always used to be too. The game I used to enjoy playing was Super Smash Bros. Brawl. That was fantastic. That was a really good game. I really enjoyed that. Just probably you can hang about with mates, 2 people if you wish to. I used to play with your and the AI used to do the other thing, so you would depends. Managed to get most of the characters anyway. When the challenger approaches, it's like you enjoy the brawl, of course, with all your favorite characters and stuff like that. And then some new character, this new character comes along. It's like, oh shit, I'll him now. And then see, try and win and come on. Finally, yes. And it'd be like, right, that sort of thing. It's like, am I going now? Oh, that was fantastic. It was the gameplay. Actually, the gameplay was fantastic. I'm trying to think of any of the Wii games we played. I don't really know actually, but that was the one I played quite a bit. I think I got rid of most of them. My PS2 games I got rid of completely. Some of them at the hands of security guards, believe it or not. I think some of them actually took some home from themselves. I think because when I brought them in, I was just sorting out and like just mentioning them because they were saying PS2 stuff anyway, so that's absolutely fine. Thought I was getting rid of them. I don't really care what kind of little cash. I never got like £10 or something out of it really, but I spent quite a bit, and yeah, and some security. And these security guys are like obviously shopping centre started looking over it. I think, bloody hell, I haven't seen this for years. Of course, it's been a long time since I checked these out, and they were sort of going through. They were basically like, oh my god, like, excuse me, but it was like it's like there was like glee out of these guys, proper security fellas as well, buffed up dudes, probably be in the 30s or something, and it's like they were really, looking through them. I was like, yeah, that's a bit strange, really. Like people of the law, very much like even taking interest in where you actually get rid of. Fair enough. I thought it was a bit strange but funny. 360 games, I with them as well. Actually, I don't. Maybe did I? I don't know. I think there's one. I think it's called Wii getting rid of games I still have actually pile. PlayStation, I think they're gone. Them 2 games they're gone. but I think I did probably get rid of the 360. Maybe, I don't know, or the boxed up. I really don't know actually. It's been a strange thing with the games really, but yeah, that's my gaming history really. Did I do any more gaming? Did I? No, I did Bill's Rock Band once. That was a rubbish really. I was terrible at that. There we go. That's last thing to say about gaming really. Really, I have nothing else to say. But you know, why I used to play games are gone. That's about it. I think I had a question years ago, but there we go. Question number 2. Of all the records you own, which one is the best? Oh God. Right. I need to rectify this, Ben. How old? It's like the first one I ever bought, and my very first vinyl record, or one that is I've had, you know, that was brought out how many odd years ago, decades ago. How do you rectify that? You know, which is the oldest, like the one you had, your first one, or is the one that's just the oldest? I would say, you know, the oldest record ever, like it's the original pressing from something like 1965 or something, or is it? You know, just the one I've got really. Because I don't really, I've got loads. I've got tons of vinyl. I've got hundreds of vinyl. I've got loads, tons. Oh my god! I could probably do like a little stop frame video at some point, of course, where I go, maybe go to my house and probably do something like that. Do my 2 pictures now. Show you what I've got. I've got loads, tons of albums. I do, but the oldest I probably sold. I don't know actually, because some stuff was given by my parents, in some regards. Bloody hell. I think the one I bought first, the very first one I bought was the oldest, was something called Chart Action. A 4 LP set, like in 1992. That features a lot of stuff like new wave pop punk. I say once you have the oldest, but the one both you were released in the first, and what the first one was bought. Okay, so basically they're both really on that front. So the first one I bought was Child Action. That's from 1982. That's the very first one I ever bought. Solely on my own, really. It was cheap. It was. Go from a market stall from a woman in a white van. I paid 20 pence for it. Fully enough. You know, very decent, good condition. 20 pence for a 4 record set, which I thought was like, really. No wonder. The woman. Seemed right, but she maybe seemed disinterested really. But I ended up paying 20 pence for a, you know, for a piece of set. That's the cheapest I ever bought like an LP in my life. That's my very first one I ever bought. So it's still good actually. Like pop punk or something called it. That was great. Find that was a really good selection I did. In terms of the oldest ones, that like the ones that came out earlier. Ooh, God. I think it's A Hard Day's Night. A Hard Day's Night. Because I think that's the earliest one I ever bought. Because I'm not sure about with Beatles. I'm not sure that version I've got. But the Please Please Me is an 80s issue. But I think A Hard Day's Night is one they think. I think it's still. I'm going with me, so I don't know. Hang on. Oh, I think I know what I'm going on. I go on social media, so I could probably rectify that. I could probably rectify this. Hang on. Vinyl out. Come on. I mean, if you follow, I do have loads. I showcase my vinyl on here anyway. So yeah, I've got tons of stuff. I do. I've got loads. I've got loads, mate. Lots of good decent albums, some rare albums, some reissues. Well, I do. I tend to buy reissues now and again. I do. That's all keep me interested. Where's that? Hard Day's Night was released in '64 when the film was released. That's the same version was released before the film. which I saw I knew about from a guy called Vinyl Rewind, who talked about the stuff. Where's that at? So I do it somewhere. Here we go. Here we go. This is it. That's my copy. That is. That's on Instagram. There. So it's a mono version. So if I can't really zoom in on here. So let me see if I can do that. God, could I have it by the Beatles in mono? Cost me $12.99 back in my old record store. God, when did I get that? 16. Well, how old was I? I was. Obviously, I remember getting stuff like, I do have some really. I've actually found the Beatles stuff now, so I'll chug you through the. I'll show you. So that's please play. That's the A6, A5 reissue. That's an 80s press, that is. And you have a hard disk mono tools. That has no cover on that unless it's a reissue. I'm not entirely sure really, but that's how it actually came out. But when I first got that, that's my first. That's my second Beatles album. That's my second Beatles album I got. Hard Day's Night. That's in mono. Beatles for Sale. One that's in mono as well. So that's another original version. That is, but it's you open up and you have to get the vinyl of the little slipcase you do, which is interesting. Which the seller for was, just remember because I remember this album, of course, and you have to pull it out from the inside, really much like open it up, pull it out the lug. Rubber Soul. That's my first Beatles album ever. That was the first Beatles album I ever bought. I did. I still love Rubber Soul. It's good. Revolver. This is the other. Revolver. That's in mono as well. That was cost quite a bit actually. That did. So there we go. Oldies. That's another one. That's that. I think that's one of the early Beatles albums I got. I got from Carlisle from a store called the Music and Game Box. Magical Mystery Tour. That's the cheapest Beatles album I ever bought. It only cost me £1. That did. Weirdly. So as well, Blue Album. That's the other one I've got. The most infamous cover of the was the original Yesterday Today. I remember that, of course. I think if you get it, maybe it might be still underneath there. If you get the sensitive version, redone cover, you end up peeling off whatever. I think that's the thing really with that album, really. Speaking of which, actually, there's this thing as well, ballads, which I do own a number of years ago as well. That was meant to be the original cover for the White Album, actually. It was called meant to be like in Doll's House or something, but just changed the White Album. It did. Oh my God. Hollywood Bowl 77. That's the other one I got of a live album, which I actually remember listening to. I thought was pretty decent actually. Apart from all the screaming, but there we go. I'm really trying to look at the others because there's still a couple more Beatles I've got. These two now. Second issue of the new cover, stuck over the old cover, has become more rare because people used to move the Stockholm cover. Well, that's true. The people sort of took most like, no, we'll start from scratch, use that cover just to fool people, really. Something like that, really. Well, obviously, that was like a mistake at the time, but then people. There's an arm popping out of that. It's like, oh, it's that cover. See, when people, I wonder if I can get it. No, I'm just damaging the sleeve. I'm chipping. I'm basically scratching the sleeve of that thing. Let's see what I got. I'm trying to think what's the one because there's the early version. The other two one I remember getting. Oh god. But I do own Pepper, Holland Lads Cup. It's usually easy to say these days, but I don't know why. Who knows? Let's See I've got as well. I got another version of that as well. The Beatles album. I've also got Keep Peace Chance, but I'm about the single. Okay, that's interesting. Interesting. What else I got? I'm really trying to lose it. Did I put it on or not? I don't know. I don't think I did actually. Abbey Road. That's the what I've got. That's a Swedish version. That is. That's from Sweden. That is. I got it from a Marks store in Lancaster. Summer's Day. How much did I pay for that? Just 15 quid. I paid. I got it for decent buy. Stereo. That's in stereo. That is. And the other one I remember getting. I think the last one I remember. No. The first one I remember getting was the White Album. That's 100 quid. That did. That's the most expensive. That's the only album, only one album I ever bought. You know, like over 100 quid, because I thought, oh, it's just the Beatles album. Really, I didn't really think of anything else. Well, I didn't realise what it was. It was the original mono. Funny enough, from the 1960s. When I listened to Helter Skelter, which is one of my favourite songs, it faded out because apparently the mono version, the Helter Skelter fades out quick, more. You know, I think it's like 3 minutes, something like that. On mono stereo, it's about 4 minutes or whatever. So it's like strange. And I just looked at it and thought, oh, so I basically got like an old version of that really. So it's a rare version. There's a massive theory that the Paul McCartney's dead and all people in the covers reference it. That's true. The Abbey Road cover, of course. You know, the idea of John's the angel or God or whatever. Ringo is the Undertaker. Paul is the person who's dead. And of course, George is the Undertaker. Yeah, I know about that. It's a funny theory. It's a good one. People like to speculate, really. I've always it'd be really interesting. Yeah, but I still don't know that one. That's a really good one. Say, Child Action 82 and Hard Day's Nights 64. Those are ones I've had really. And number 3 is the most infamous question. No one's ever commented about this for about maybe a year when I first did it. Why do you film most of your videos in your car? Now there's a reason why I do this actually, because one of my early videos, what I used to film in the bedroom. I did back in the day, but obviously the thing is, my parents don't know how to use it, so they don't know about this channel's existence. What I've been doing for the past 4 years, so they have no clue. They have no idea that I'm on doing this on the internet, which is funny. I think I kept tight-lipped about that. My close friends, who I've known for 20 odd years, they know I'm on YouTube. 2 of them are subscribers on here anyway, so they know what I'm up to. And one person I know from work, good friends with, he is a YouTuber as well. We showcase what we do, really, of course. Of course, it's horseshit, but people still believe it. I think the Beatles put reference to it as well. I think they sort of knew about it, really. They look at it. They sort of read it. They sort of maybe looked into it. I think, maybe we can take the piss out of the fans, really, that sort of thing. Make it like a weird marketing thing. I think Apple Records looked at it, think, maybe we should do that actually. Maybe with the meetings, we can probably do something like that, of course. And the Beatles basically planned it out really, just for a bit of fun, everyone guessing, really. That could be the thing. So of course, wanted to film Lost My Car. I've been doing it for more than a year and a half actually. Back in January 2020, I did. Well, the reason is because obviously I can't really film in the house as much because my parents at the most of the time, and I really can't do it in the house. if I get a chance to, you always see, you know, it's not far-fetched as the theory is that Elvis was home alone. Yeah, it's a that you know that the theory, of course, like what do you call it? I always remember the theory that he ate a hamburger and died in the bloody toilet. He was eating fast food somehow, just died or something. You know, it's that sort of thing. That's the first time I heard about that theory. When you as a kid in the playground, whatever, you think, oh, Elvis died in the toilet when he was eating a hamburger. Did you know about that, Mike? It's like, well, no, not really. I never told me. You know, the king of rock and roll, scoffs a burger and ends up dying bloody throne. That's why. That's I think that's like a jokey, drunk version of that. That's the question, of course. Because my parents in the house a lot, I couldn't film any most material really, unless they were out or something else, or unless I had like an hour to spare if they were not in. So during the time, of course, I end up I've talked test I can just use a phone 8, and just basically film, you know, like against the steering wheel of the car that I'm in, and basically there, of course. And obviously, since then, it's spared off most of like last year, because I've been filming my car all the time. I did a lot of content. It was, you know, that was really how it happened. You know, me filming the car helped me give out more content, really. But one disadvantage of it is I've only got limited time to do stuff, really, in terms of filming, because I filmed out where. So if you see in the car, because I'm on my shifts, I am, and you basically see me do my breaks, really, like do my first break, like a 15-minute break, then you have a break, which is half an hour to, and that's what I've been doing actually. You know, probably the first break probably see the like something in the morning, you know, morning, sometimes midday, sometimes in the evening as well. If you see me like in the bloody dark, sometimes that's what films are like in January or autumn, whatever. Like I'm leaving night shift, I am. So that's what I've been doing most of the time. It's more interesting. It's more ideal, and in clear corners rather than do it at home. Of course, Rowan's noticing what I'm doing. It's more easy for me to be on your own. Like you should carve it as a studio, and basically record what you want to record. If you want to record a film review in there, that's fine thing. Or talk about what you want to do. Is there any news that's come up and that really makes like that? You know, a reaction. Your own sort of negative reaction to something that's popped up in a few, recently. That sort of thing, really. I think it's basically like for effective time, really. But also, you probably won't get much long content out of me, really. You know, you'll probably be under waiting months for more. Actually, it depends. You know, in terms of what I do. So that's why I tend to do it for. It's more effective. It's more economical, I would say. If I just film a car, what I do. I always wonder when you film a car, but I put it down to an artistic choice. Solve it. It's all well, not really. It was just like to do like doing a space, really, and also without people noticing, really. So like you're in your own space, you're in your own isolated space, really. But that's my main reason why I do it. And since then, I've been enjoying. I've been producing content since then, of course. I haven't done much really in terms of. I've done one video. I filmed in my car just one recently to review, which I need slowly to edit and put together. And the other one I've filmed here actually in the house. So I'm in my own space. I can record stuff now, but also do the live streams as well. So it's interesting thing, really. You know, so I can film in this place because it's all my own space now for a while, and in the car as well. So I have 2 different places to do it actually. So we'll see. I could probably still do the film the car stuff, but also more stuff in here as well, within the space, within my sort of backdrop. So there we go. So that's your question answered, Ben. So that's the reason why I do it for. It's more effective actually. It works the way because else we use, I can film a video instantly like that for a couple of minutes. Then I can go home and sort of edit it out together and upload it to whatever date or now, actually, depends. You know, decide actually, I film the raw footage first, then edit it all together. That's how I do it. Make a rough version of that video and final edit. So that's how I've been doing it for the past year and a half. So, you know, even through the pandemic and stuff. Thank you for asking my questions. No problem, Ben, and thank you for submitting them as well. We still have 2 more users who said some questions as well. So the next questions are from Jack Williams. So here we go. Have you seen Disney and Pixar's Cars? I have done, actually. I've seen the first one many years ago. It was. I thought it was decent, interesting, voice cast, and interesting concept and design. I filmed pretty much my videos in my room, maybe because it's the only bit of semi-privacy, although it was annoying waiting for people to show up before I could start. Yeah, that's one thing, but in this case, well, I tend not to do that. Obviously, my parents don't know how to do it. You know, in my bed, they don't know I'll be filming stuff from the bedroom very much, that sort of thing. But also, sometimes they tend to argue quite a lot, actually. So, you know, you probably hear a lot of if they do, there's going to be a lot of bickering, shouting from downstairs that you can probably hear upstairs. So it's definitely ideal to do in an isolated space. You'll film in your car, no one's going to bother you or anything else. You know, you'll be absolutely fine. You can just basically record a 5-minute video. It's absolutely great. It is. I think I'll be off now. See you later. Best of luck, Ben, and I'll see you whenever the next week. Actually, if we're doing it, if we're doing it next week, I think we're actually. Yeah, I think Tuesday's available. I can do Tuesday, next Tuesday as well. So. That's good. So Jack Williams has mentions anyway, which is very kind of him. There's only 3 ones. So have you ever seen Disney and Pixar's? I have done, actually. I've seen the first one and the film I've seen. I've never seen the second one. I think the second one, as people might say, is rubbish. It's a bit not what you expect people. It's all secret agent parody. Where was the third one? I thought, you know, it deals with like your changing times, modern standards, and everything else. And the Queen, I'm a Queen with a heavy modernized world, of course, with modernized races, that sort of thing. And he's just trying to, you know, that's the main thing. Cars 3, that came from Win because I saw it on streaming. My dad put it on because he was testing some stream stuff out. We just went watching it, really. So that's how I came across the third one. Never saw the second one. I don't want to. I don't see the point of it. First one's good because I always remember seeing it many years ago. I have a rucksack of of Cars at some point many years ago. Maybe I still have it. I don't know. It'll be somewhere. I mean, that's the only as Cars I do own. What are your thoughts on Pixar short films? The second question is, I haven't seen most of them, really. Excuse me. The early one they did back in the 80s, 90s. I think it's the 80s, actually. They did that little drummer toy or something. And I think at the end, this little baby takes him or something at the end. That's the one I must go see it. I really don't know. Doing it near a fountain. I really don't know. It's a long time since I checked those out. Those little Pixar shorts. Jesus Christ. I might say that the very first one we did back in the 80s, I would probably say that's probably the one I'm more familiar with, really. But they're good. You know, I mean, not short films, like kind of cartoon, like old-fashioned cartoon, 1940s against a film, really. Like Warner Brothers used to do Looney Tunes. They put a little shorts on, and before the film starts. That's how they used to do it back in the day. Thought that was interesting, but that's the only one I can remember with that all 80s. Distinctly remember, excuse me, on that one. So, yeah. And number 3, what is your favourite Mr. Bean film? That has to be Bean from 1997. That's good. That is. I always, and it's directed by Mel Smith, a friend of Rowan Atkinson. I think when they did 9 o'clock, not 9 o'clock news. You know, you've got it's good. It carries a lot of interesting energy, of course. It's shot at set in Los Angeles. You've got Peter Minicola as well. Everyone's favourite character from Ghostbusters 2, Yash. Who remembers him? Why, that in Bean, Nickel, because it's to do with painting and art. Why? Let's play like a similar character. That would have worked. That would have. I don't know if that would have not. I don't know. He's more the straight man, but who knows? Janosch in Bean, you always think about this. You think of like certain people, like a certain character or an actor who appears in something, and you're thinking, that would have been interesting. It's like, what's his name? That actor called Aubrey Woods, and he was the what do you call it? What was he? He was the sweet store owner, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. In 1972, he was the controller in Day of the Dark in 1972. So I thought, that could be funny. That could be like a little separate thing, like a weird separate sequel. Like Day of the Dark is a sequel to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, focused on the sweet stuff fella, candy store clerk. Now, you're probably thinking, it's like, it's like, did that sequel, well, there was a sequel earned, of course. And people probably say, yeah, News 2, of course. New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, 1972. Day of the Daleks. That's the sequel to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. It's got the kind of stuff, got the kind of stuff clerk. But he's more of a dictator now. Nothing else. You could probably make some weird theories about that. Same with Ghostbusters 2. That footage he loses European accent for a long time. As of yeah, that could probably work. But Bean, do you like that? Mr. Bean's Holiday? I don't really enjoy it as much as I used to. I think when I first saw it, I thought, I'm enjoying this. Then, obviously, it gets parodied a lot as well. If was it Shaggy when he's dancing to earn some cash? Have you heard the theory that Snowpiercer it's a sequel to Willy Wonka? No, I've never heard that theory actually. It's not based on a graphic novel at first. It's a bit like how Saw is a sequel to Home. Oh, okay. Saw is a sequel to Home Alone. Okay. Again, not a theory I expected really. Okay. But we have our own theories, don't we? In a way, I come with those way theories. Ghostbusters 2 to Bean, and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory to Day of the Daleks. So there we go. It's like, that can fit in. Who knows? You can probably. I can't go that far. Really. That one. I'm going to say, see no evil, hear no evil, as is equal to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. That Willy Wonka's gone deaf. He's something like that. Really. So Mr. Bean movie. I prefer Bean than Bean's Holiday. I would say, and also Bean he's more vocalized and talks a lot more. Actually, like it makes him a character now. Actually, you know, like in the TV series, you can probably hear him speaking, of course. But he's more vocal, he is, which I do actually do like. It was quite surprising when I first saw it. You think, oh, he actually speaks a decent level of English in a way. Like he's got like some very tones to his voice in a way. And then you come to more slapstick silent comedy in a way, with him just in and doing the scream here and there, yelp now and again. Whereas with Bean, it feels like, you know, he's come more has his odd stuff on, but you know, it's like I'm waiting for them to publish for the Wonka book, Willy Wonka and the headache inducing legal battles. That's good, that is. That is good. Yeah. Of Charlie in the Great Glass Elevator. Dull, dim, that. You never know, you know. They'll probably end up doing, you know, at some point. I mean, they redid The Witches. This is likely to come next. Who knows? I mean, they've really done most, apart from the Twits, which I'm still surprised they haven't done that. You know, that could be like a 6-part sitcom in a way. That could probably work in a way. You know, you know, it's about 7 on Thursday night, on BBC Two or something. That'd probably work. Going back to the question, last question. Of course, it's of course. I probably say Bean from 97 is my favourite Mr. Bean. There we go. That's good. And there's one else. No, it's Messenger. That's all right. So here we go. So volume 40, final fix, of which is final volume of Oscar's favourite characters. What do you think of it? What do I think of your last volume that James 90 included? I really think it's, you know, I don't really know. I wasn't saying this is the end or anything else. You know, it's like, because it's been going on and on for a long time. Of course, what James has been doing. You know, I thought decent selection of stories. Really, I thought it's decent. Charlie gets blamed for all the murders Willy Wonka committed. Yeah, who knows? There could be bodies underneath the whole factory. Who knows? Dead Oompa Loompas. It'd be like bloody. What do you call it? Be like Auschwitz. It'd be something like that. You know, with all Oompa Loompas and piles and stuff, and he has to burn the bodies, activate the furnace. You know, at least one way to get the furnace working, you can jump all the Oompa. That'll be something. So, going back to your question, Oscar, 45 Felix. What do you think of it? I didn't mind it. Decent selection of episodes, I have to admit. That's all right. Not too bad. All right, really. I don't really, to be fair, I do keep it out of them just in case, but I never really watched them. I think because I know what to expect from what is included in the content, because it's the same story, the same shows over and over again, the different episodes doing a different theme, which is interesting, you know. But after a while, it sort of becomes a bit more. It's very cliche. It's very clear. As I like it polish. That's all decently mixed and stuff. What I did on YouTube, of course, and what we've done on archive.org, of course, do something out of the norm and do something different, you know. So, of course, whereas the compilations that you and James saw out of work, I've done on. I mean, curiously, you have to put your favorite 10 of your absolute favourites. That's good. I think for time, of course, you know, it's like, you know, there's no enough variation really. That's what that's what I love about compilation. Really, what I used to grow up with, you always don't get the same thing. You always get something completely different. You do, always different. You know, you have like 7. You have like a compilation with 7 shows on, and you probably get that when you enjoyed it. So there you get a decent mixture. You know, even one that's maybe 4 shows on, yeah, it's different as well. You know, you get different bits and pieces all the time. Really, that's what I like about it. With my compilations, when I done the channel, you know, for last year, do something different. You know, something that's do something that's familiar, but do something that's not normal as well. You know, maybe keep it a different formula, but also just again just keep it differently. Really, don't fall into the same trappings. Really, there we go. But it's interesting that it's ending, really. But I don't know. I wasn't really fussed, really, to be honest. And James is going to carry on with his own stuff, really. So good on him, really. Oscar, I don't. Who knows? You could probably make some more of your own stuff on archive.org if you feel like it. Who knows? We'll see. Question number 2. What is your favourite VHS distributing company? There's quite a couple. There's a couple of it I love. I mean, you've answered BBC Video. That is good. That is, they released a lot of good stuff. They did. Remember back in the day, the idents they did were very good. The diamond logo, of course. I only remember the late one with Synthy stuff on it. I did. Fantastic stuff with the Roland D50. What I remember. That's really good. Fantastic. Really enjoyed that. That was one of my favourites. That was the corporate or the slides. I think it's known as. I love that one as well. Really good. I always like the how it's presented on like books and tapes. Just that logo itself. Still, I love that. Makes sense. I wonder if they did any compilation tapes or different types of programming, given it's all kids shows. They probably did actually. Imagine there's loads really. There is loads out there really. It depends what you're really into. That sort of thing. I was thinking of the preset labels, like Intervision. There is one that was released on preset. I think the BBC released it back in the early 80s. Do with Oliver Postgate, I think. I really think there is, because someone put on YouTube. They have the reissue version of that from '86, but there's a preset version of that from '81 or something. There's some early presets that she ever did, but it's really like to Oliver Postgate, some Bagpuss, I have the engine, not gonna know clangers, that sort of thing. Really, nothing else. I don't think. No, I think it's just the Oliver Postgate stuff they released first as compilations at the time, in the very early. Yeah, that's the only thing I can remember, really. Something like that, because they didn't really come into their own until the late 80s. Actually, the compilation started coming in. I think sporadically, because there's one in '85 that I remember knowing about. But I think it did come into its own until the late 80s, really, when they started coming out more and more and became more prominent throughout the 90s and stuff, really. So, yeah. So I'll probably say BBC Video on that one. BBC Video is good. VCI. I've probably seen the video collection at the time, really. When it was just a video collection, I think that was really, what they put out was good content, really, at the time. I was thinking, yes. I was thinking about the old question. I think the video collection itself, 96 and 95, they really did some really good stuff, really some brilliant stuff they did at the time. New shows, they really emphasised good stuff as well back in the day. At some point, bring out some vouchers as well, actually. So, knock off £1 or a couple of quid off your VHS. I do enjoy, back then it was more wholesome. It was more. I don't know. Less about cash, I would say. They released all sorts they did at the time. It was like a good mixture of stuff it did, and it felt right. It really did. Looking back on some stuff I actually have of them, and actually looking through all sorts. Absolutely, the video collection along with Channel 5 were the ones to sell companies to bring out self-read tapes. That's true. Channel 5 as well, yes. Channel 5, yeah. Indeed, I didn't own Channel 5. I only owned one, I think I did, actually. Magic Roundabout VHS with Nigel Planer re-narrating stuff from the early 70s, I think it is, from what I recall, what I have actually, the only VHS we've got really. But it's, yeah. Yeah, I think I don't own as much. It's like Brown. and you have that little streak on it somehow goes into the little corner and flies up to the sky. I thought it was weird as a kid, but there we go. But I think Channel 5 video and video collection, of course, were the sole, again, the project, you know, the sole masters of the self-retained within that companies at the time. Really good. Pickwick did a video version as well. I remember Pickwick as well a couple times. I only remember a couple. Then it was underneath the Screen Legends banner back in the day. Started releasing these their exclusive to Walrus. That's true. Actually, yes, they did. That's the thing with video collection. Walrus. It was like to Walrus employees. What's his name? Steve Ayres. He was some guy called Barry or something. Some bloke called Barry. Some guy called Steve. Some guy called Barry decided to make their own company, sell stuff through Walrus because they were working there at the time, I think, and basically, you know, and obviously pre-stuff recorded like old films, carries John Wayne, old cartoons like the Flintstones and Jetsons and whatever, all Hanna-Barbera cartoons. They brought new stuff in as well, like God, I think it's around the Danger Mouse, Under the Thames banner at the time. Super Ted was another one. So I believe Channel 5 was on by the 90s. Program started releasing budget films of the spectrum of forefront labels. They did actually. I do own quite on the forefront. I think I've got Madness video, Utter Madness or Absolute Madness, or no, because it's called. Back in the day, but it's actually, you do have that with the forefront label on it. I do somewhere. And a few other films. Robocop released on forefront as well. Was it? No, was it? No, no. Virgin Video Limited. I think it's not as. I think. Speaking of, I actually found something recently. Yeah. I could probably mention these guys as well, actually. So, say, Virgin Video. I can see this well, Virgin, because I think stuff in the 80s as well. This came out. It was 88, 89. I think late 87 to 89 or 90. I could probably say this came out. First services. But Virgin did more stuff as well. They did back in the day. For what I know. Indeed. Given that sort of thing as well. I remember. I think they did some stuff earlier on. They did. I think back in the early 80s because they had some different ideas as well back in the day. Channel 5 started releasing budget films in the 80s. They released Polygraph. Seen a few others. Oh, interestingly, that's interesting. Because I know when Video Collection did stuff for Columbia, they had the rights to distribute the films out. Really. And I think with Virgin, I think it's to do with stuff Orion as well. They did, yes, because because I think they like a deal in pictures as well. Hence why like the Terminator and Robocop and video at the time in the late 80s. In 88, 89, if I'm not mistaken. Tape like, basically this sort of labeled tape of the Terminator back in the day when I first saw it. Of course. And that, well, this is probably the same bloody old video as well at the time. Yes. Indeed. That's one case. Indeed, I noticed they were like they did their own bits and pieces, but they did sports, Virgin did, and a little bit of children's stuff as well. I've noticed as well in the day. Yeah, well, there we go. I'm trying to think of any others. I mean, obviously, there's also was the first release of Terminator was ranked video and reissued and was reissued by Virgin. Oh yes, oh yeah, because some guy I remember there's a video I remember watching a few months ago. Guy actually did the rights to Ryan Library all over the place. Oh really? Oh, really? It could be. Depends really actually. No, actually I think over time, Guildhall Video released I've released a couple of actually. I think they did actually. I don't know. Did they? Like all over the place. Imagine again, GM owns some of them, don't they? At least I think. Like doesn't like some of the early Terminator rights, like the first one is owned by M or something. And Bill and Ted are owned by Stu. Is that I think because Next Adventure is, I think, to my knowledge. I own a DVD of that one. I do. It's a strange. It's a weird thing, of course. What's the one I can think of? Entertainment I remember as well. Other distributing companies, well, British company. They started doing films, but they ended up distributing other films. Is owned by Indirect. Okay, so yeah, so that one's owned by MGM. That'll be on Amazon. Amazon owns that now, actually. So yeah, so they'll be taking control of that film. They'll be releasing that constantly and be released on streams. You know, they play it for free as Prime all the time. Because that recent buyout and everything. Who knows? I'm just gonna put this in the box. Focus Journey is MGM and Next Adventure is Studio. MGM owns that. So okay, that's a bit strange. That's a bit strange, that one. So that was the one. Entertainment Video. I was saying, I always remember DVD's version of them. Really, I don't know if you had it back in the day. The Crow was one. Dungeons and Dragons, there was another one I actually owned. Lost in Space, 98 film. That one, I own that. What else? What's the other films they had back in the day? I did actually, when I was collecting DVDs, I used to have a thing to buy the old entertainment stuff with the old 18 certificate. The old ones they used on VHS and whatever, rather than use the modern ones. Well, at the time, of course, the then modern ones, of course. So stuff like Trippin', Wild Things, Donnie Brasco. What was the one? Think. I try to think of the films. Boogie Nights, yeah, that was another one. Boogie Nights, yeah. God. Nightmare on Elm Street. God. Highlander 2: The Quickening. That's the only DVD I own with the older 18 rating is The Warriors. You mean the Paramount version? You mean it's for Paramount? Because the version I've got is like a later reissue. You know, it's for Paramount, but it's a later reissue. I think you've got the earlier one from 2000, was it? 1999, 2000. I do own original version, the original DVD of Event Horizon. I do. Because it was sent and it's found. So an original, I think I could do an original version of Starship Troopers, but how it's presented, it's in widescreen, but you have to flip it over and watched the film on the other side as well. It's a visual release. I think that's how DVD was sort of originally done by that then. I don't know, unless it's what to the widescreen. I don't know. It's a Touchstone DVD release. A very late 90s, early 2000s it was. I still have it somewhere. Get Carter and the Mad Max trilogy with the older, have the older on the disc, but newer ones in the case. Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, you think of that 3D? Because I think of the Mad Max box set, that slimline box set you get. You know, and they probably have on the print, print on the DVDs they do. Yes, I've seen it a couple of times actually with some films. Not the Warriors. They're just the symbols not too long ago, and they're ugly. The 2002 ones are fine. Yeah, it's quite strange actually. Yeah, because they changed the site, changed to these, haven't they? Of course, I really don't get that why. It's like it feels like this. It's like the cinema ones, isn't it? Like you used to get like back in the day in the cinema, like the very similar to the 12A one, like again in the theaters. Really, it's like that. I don't know. I don't want to change it. I guess it's like model. I don't know. The BVFC as for like when you change your image up or something like that, make it more modern. I just don't know really. Who knows? Maybe to be fair, these are alright actually. These have been fine, of course. Indeed, back in the day, yes. I've got a few of the new symbols on. I do as well actually. I do have a couple. Actually, the one I've got is Bill and Ted Face the Music. That's the one I've got a new symbol on. I do. That's what I do have actually. I don't think I want anything else with that on. Anything else? I'm not too sure. Do I? No, I don't think so. I think it's just Bill and Ted Face the Music and the complete season 19 I have. That's about it really. So, indeed. So yeah. So obviously, going back to this question that Oscar gave me as well, distributing company as we were going on tangent, all this sort of stuff. BBC Video, I would say Virgin Video, I would probably say is another one. Entertainment and Video, Channel 5 is another one. Video Collection, I would say. I think in the early parts of the Video Collection, I would say they were good. VCI, I really think what I was always say about VCI back in the day when I did have nostalgia doing it, because what they were, I think what the main thing with VCI at the time when they rebranded it, it was really trying to get more. I think they were trying to get more cash really, in a way. The first one I got a new symbol was South Park season 23. Good on you, Ed. Got the reissues the Screen Trilogy and one of the few Cuckoo's Nest. Heard. Don't know. Really, if that's something that's been going around. I think I saw recently before. Like, yeah, really, are they doing a fifth one or something like that? I don't really know. But I'm going back to VCI at this point. VCI, God's truth. I used to hate that logo back in the day. It used to freak me out all the time as a kid. It took me a long time to really come to terms to really watch it again. It was a long time, and it sort of put me off for a long time buying stuff from them. It was down to its imagery, its music. Why the music? I don't know. It's I call it horror symphony. I did, in a way. But actually looking into what was going on, because I mentioned they said they went to financial issue, but they had to rebrand it, and I can imagine they were trying to put load to make it, get them more cash, to keep the company afloat, or the early times of the company afloat. Hence why you get lots of stuff really. When you get stuff like this, is going back to going to the obviously Thomas Session Friend, well known. It's poster like its mascot. That's what VCI tends to do. Like hooks them in. Of course, it means a successful show, but they milked the fuck out of that show. They did. Back in the day, in the 90s, compilation, sticking episodes on, like exclusive. You have this video to get exclusive. That pains the living shit out of me, that does, because I went through that process years ago, and obviously it's like, why? You know, you know, you used to be creeped out by the A6 logo. I didn't mind the 95 one. A bit indifferent. I used to love the A6 one. A9 to 95 one, good. The music, I love that one. The 95 one, creeped the fuck out of me, that did. Literally did. You know, and makes me freaks. Sometimes you really adjust to it. But obviously now it's totally fine, really. And yeah. But I think looking back at Recite, they really just milked all, Thomas Nash and Friends at the time, really. It's show, really. It really shoved all the others to one side. I can see that, looking at it. And looking at the release, of course. Yeah, they released some decent stuff over shows, but at the time when they were rebranded, it's like, everything's just been pushed to one side. Here's the show. This is what's going to sell millions. People are going to buy this in their droves. That sort of thing. It's like, it really comes to a point that it became really annoying and frustrating. They really pushed it hard with the marketing, and well, not really the marketing, but production line. I think it's like really in and out. You get a video at some point like the spring, the summer, and then one in the autumn. You might get one in the winter. I don't know really. Did in terms of show really at that time in the 90s, really push it forward and let all the shows just dwindling down the corner before forgotten about. Which is sad really, because they never know. Obviously, they could have done with them, but they really wanted the money. They were just into cash, I think. Whereas beforehand they were doing well, of course. It's like, we release this stuff, of course, different shows, different movies, of course. We can cater to different multiple people, of course. I really enjoy the hell out of it. That sort of thing. And once they rebranded, that sort of variety, you still got some variety, but it really sort of dwindled slightly when I look back on it. Yeah, you got some stand-up and a few comedy stuff here and there, off to do with really, lots of Man United, and what am I thinking else? And maybe a couple of reissues of all shows here and there, but nothing really, captures the same impact as what the video collection started out to do until the mid-1990s. They were in full swing. They were, catering to also sort of bringing stuff out left and right and centre. Brilliant sitcoms as well, some interesting classics. Some decent movies that have been reissued for getting for a budget price. Yes, please, absolutely. That's what we're here for. And then you come to the 1990s, sort of dwindles, and it's like, and the prices strike up slightly. It's like, they're in need of cash, they need of money, that sort of thing. That's what made me go a bit tangent when I talked about this back in the videos. Maybe rage about a few times really at the time, but that's what I really think they were up to really at that point. What's the company manager about Barry? I don't know if he left or something. I don't know. Maybe pay their fortunes or whatever, or keep everything afloat. That sort of thing. Yeah, movies used to be the biggest push for the video collection back in the 80s. Absolutely. Used to release a lot of good stuff. Instrumentals as well from Rank, and obviously Clubbery and TriStar as well. Indeed, and that's what that did when VI moved on. Did that really. Unless you count Film 4 as well, but they really didn't push out with many films they did. What I've noticed when I looked into it, I didn't realise they didn't push out. Not much advertising, not much stuff out of it really, as they used to. I mean, it depends on licensing really, but they did push out quite a lot. They did, even with some stuff they did not. They actually, brought out the making of what film, and it's like, we can distribute the behind the scenes of this feature like they did with RoboCop. The video collection released in 1999, of course, which is basically, I think it's like an episode for a TV show, like do with cinema or something like that, and released on video solely. Some videos like, if you love the film RoboCop, you can check this behind the scenes that were released. check in your local Woolworths or John Smith's or W. Smith's or something. Find it in there. That's the thing, of course. Even with like W. Smith, they did some exclusive videos on their own, really. But there we go. Yeah, that sort of thing. So I've got mixed feelings with VCI. Video collection before VCI was good. Definitely VCI. They had some things, but you can tell, that looking back on it now, looking what there's, it's like, some different, some interesting stuff, but it's like, they're really like send on stuff, stuff that works really. Go to this sort of formula, this mold. What shows work and what sells, and we'll do that experiment or release something weird or strange like we used to. Who knows? Maybe that's what probably my silver money on everything else. I really think, no, we need to sell some shows that solve work, Maybe sell a show, but also look at what show that sells a lot. What's the zeitgeist? What's the zeitgeist of this time? And they find out what it is, I would think. So I would say that. I could probably say BCI in some way. And the final question of this Q&A, as we could wrap this up, is what do you think of the story of how I tried to make Series 3 of Bill and Ben come to life? So, now I heard about this actually. You did some, what do you call it? Can you follow me on Instagram, Oscar, and you put up this little screen capsule series, this 26 episodes you read on Bill and Ben Series 3, which I didn't know. Really lasted 2 series, really. I didn't know that. Separated themselves for club later into the 90s. Some club releases don't even mention VCI anymore, anywhere. It's true, yeah. I think in the late 90s, very early 2000s stuff they released. It's just cinema. It's just like cinema clubs is on. It becomes its own entity, really, which I find interesting, really. But yeah, it was strange, really. Obviously. It's a little division, really, like a time division. It's like Thames Video, that's its own division. It's like because Cinema Club sort of become its own division, really. Obviously it was linked with the video collection and VCI for a good number of years. When it, and I think some strange reason why, like selfie. Don't need anything else, your own stuff. It's a nice deal going on nicely. And of course, with the pub, just briefly, because we'll be wrapping up soon. This live streaming has gone on quite a bit, but it's been good so far. Metro, originally his own series, his third series, and he actually pitched to the BBC, believe it or not. Apparently, he was telling me, saying that, but we're not going to do anything about it. But obviously, it was done like Hall in the thousands, but unless they could probably animate it into CGI or something. But who knows? But he worked his heart for a good year. Of course, put up like screen grabs of the script of the very first episode. So he's done his own script writing. He's written. He's worked hard to make a full series of him. I believe video starts part as 4 and the video collection quite them later. I think that's how it is actually. Yeah, I think that's how it is. Yeah, like the early preset stuff with the like 485A6, 4 and EMI did that actually. And of course, video collection came along, of course, and that's all giving breathing for Thames to release their little division to be released actually. Yeah, so as you say, it's like Thames Video Collections or Thames Television Video Collection International, Video Collection, whatever. The credits in the 80s, it's like that really. Yeah, but I saw reminded me now, of course, is with Cinema Club as well. When they come on DVD, when they transferred to DVD, always at VCI, which is strange, which I don't bloody get. Some releases you do get, like they do showcase the ident on the DVD. Yet in some other ones, they don't. They say, oh, it's Cinema Club, whatever, everything else. It's a VCI, but why is that? I have no idea. It's a weird, bizarre thing. It is. It's like what do you call it? What's that film? I watched Inspector Calls because we were doing that on GCSE, and I really knew about it. Bloody, I didn't pop this up. It's like, oh my fucking god, that's returned. I was about 16. It was like, no. It's like hiding away from a ghost. Or, God, it's like it's being fit, but it's like being scared of a picture of a spider. Jesus Christ. And I didn't realise that until obviously everything else is the Cinema Club on the top. I don't know, it'll be the same with all the. If you buy anything from Cinema Club, definitely show the VCI for some strange reason. Why? I just don't know. Why they've done that? Beats me. It's weird. Why? Indeed. Yeah, so Mr. attempts to make a third series for the BBC, of course. Did his best. Okay, obviously he posted basically, sold at it really. Still got them. Still, you never know. Some will pop up. Some will pop up later on, of course. And there might be the chance get some new blood on. They probably look at, there'll come a time, and people a few years end up getting decent jobs. People take an interest, and it's like, yeah, I'll work, and we'll see how it goes from there. It's like a stepping stone for his career, really. So there we go. It's like if you write poetry into a book and end up being published, which is fair enough, really. It's like, but I don't do it for cash or anything like that. I just do it for fun, really, and release it whenever I like. Really, and I've released condoms. Really, I think early September I'll be releasing that one. So there we go. But yeah, it's like, what is your passion anyway? What you intended to do? It's what you dream of. No matter how you try, you do what you can do best. Obviously, he's written 26 scripts, which is mind blowing in a way. So he's got some good talent behind that. He's worked hard. He's done his own thing. He's done his own series, of course, on the channel Type, which I've helped now and again with him, collaborated on a few ideas. Yes, it's really hopefully for him in the future. Christ, right. I think we might have to finish the stream. And the stream, it's been going on for a while actually, nearly 2.5 hours, maybe. That is worked. So what's the unboxing thing is good, so it's been really good, fantastic actually so far. That's good. Wonderful. So, doing film blog, I think we might have to part company. Go our separate ways until next week. Day. And I wish you all the best. Been absolutely fascinating. Been talk about some different stuff we have. It's been good. And yes, I think it's time actually. Off next week. another rounds of you for the next week. More cool American pop. We also no, I don't think it's American pop now. Heavy Traffic. We talk about Heavy Traffic. We talk about his entire world until the final days of Coney Island, the short film. So there we go. We're talking about the life and soul of the man, and still alive. Whatever. We wish you all good a good night, and we'll see you next week. Thank you for watching, and thank you for joining us as well. If anyone, the people who've joined us so far, like Ben Fremos, and see you later.